Tonight is the start of the UEFA Champions League quarterfinals second legs, and in this video I'll be doing my predictions for the upcoming games. So we have Barcelona and PSG, obviously Barcelona leading 3-2 on aggregate. That was a great result for Barcelona to get the win away at the Parc des Princes. We have Dortmund at home to Atleti. Atleti lead on aggregate 2-1, but I think they will not be comfortable going into that game. Bayern come home with a 2-2 draw from the Emirates Stadium, and Man City also bring home a 3-3 draw from the Bernabeu. I think these games are set up beautifully for the second legs. Now let's get into my predictions. So firstly, I would like to go through the most popular predictions, and you can see for Dortmund and Atleti it's 1-1, and I think I see a big case for that one. Actually, I understand it. The most popular prediction for Barcelona and PSG is 2-1 to Barcelona. I also see a case for that one. We see both teams scoring. Okay, I understand it. And 2-1 is also the most predicted result for Bayern against Arsenal. Again, another tight game. And for Real Madrid and Man City, it seems like 3-1 home win to Man City is the most popular result. To be honest, I think seeing all teams scoring definitely possible because it's been influenced by the results in the first leg, but I do not think that will happen actually. Yeah, I just think second legs might be a little bit more cagey and more tight, and teams might not want to take as many risks now. But looking back at my previous week's predictions, I had a nightmare, I had a shocker. Real Madrid, I predicted would get a 2-1 win. They were leading 2-1 at some point, and they just crumbled. But City also did take the lead, and then they crumbled. So the game ended 3-3. And then we had Arsenal-Bayern, and I said Arsenal will beat Bayern comfortably. What I was sure of is that there was no way a 5-1 was going to happen, and it didn't happen. But Arsenal also took the lead, and then they completely crumbled. Gave away a penalty, brought Bayern back into the game as well. So Arsenal, I thought, would beat this Bayern team that's been struggling, but it turned out to be a 2-2 draw. And actually Bayern were probably unlucky not to get the penalty from Gabriel's shocking mistake. Yeah, if you predicted 2 draws for these games on Tuesday last week, then you're a prophet. Then you should be rich by now. And I had Mbappe and PSG to beat Barcelona in the first leg 2-1. I thought it would be a more tighter game, but there were 5 goals in that game, which actually shows the defensive vulnerabilities of both of these teams. To be fair, an amazing result for Barcelona to get the win away, like I said, at the Parc des Princes. But PSG are in trouble for me. As I said, I had a shocker. I'm literally 0 for 3 right now. But lastly, I had Atletico to beat Dortmund 2-0, but actually Atletico were lucky to survive that game. They won the game 2-1, but Dortmund were coming with fire, and I think they hit the post on 2 occasions, if I'm not mistaken. I think Atletico are in for it at the Signal Iduna Park. This leads me to my predictions now for this week, for the second legs. And like I said, Atletico were lucky to survive the late onslaught by Borussia Dortmund at the Wanda Metropolitano, and I think that's how it will continue. Diego Simeone is a specialist tactician in parking the bus. I do not think Dortmund would score something like 4 goals or something like that. I do think it will be tight, but I do think Dortmund will win the game. In the same breath, I also do believe Atletico Madrid will score. With the form that their attackers are on, and specifically Griezmann's form this season, it would be hard to say that Atletico Madrid do not score, and I will not say that. I do think Atletico Madrid will score, but I do think Dortmund will actually win the game. So my prediction, it's actually 2-1 to Borussia Dortmund, and they will take it to extra time and penalties. Who will win it there? I think it will be Atletico Madrid because of Oblak if it goes to penalties. Now on to Barcelona and PSG at the Camp Nou. And this time, Barcelona are favorites to win it. As you can see, the popular prediction being 2-1. I do think it will be full of goals again. I do think PSG will score. I think they have enough in their attacking flair, and Barca's defense is not as solid. I don't think they can keep clean sheets, but I do think Barcelona will win the game, especially after getting the victory away. So in my prediction, I will be going 3-1 with Barcelona. I think the morale is high in that Barcelona side right now, and I think Xavi has the capacity to make this one a little bit more comfortable. Continuing with my predictions, we are off to the Allianz Arena, the slaughterhouse for Arsenal. And my prediction for this one, yes, you guessed it, it's going to be 5-1. 5-1 to Bayern. 5-1 to the Bayern again. it's happening again. Arsenal just lost to Aston Villa 2-0. The morale is down and Bayern are desperate for a win. But I'm joking. I'm only joking. Arteta would be sick to his stomach if he sees his Arsenal side concede 5. Remember, Arsenal have learned to pack the bus very well this season. They did it against Liverpool. They did it against Man City more perfectly. They've only conceded a few shots against Liverpool and Man City in the Premier League. And I'm only using those two examples because they are the teams that they're challenging the title with currently in the Premier League. So the top 2 teams, top 3, including Arsenal in the Premier League, and they've only conceded a few goals. So with that being said, I think Arsenal's defense are able to, I guess, keep the scoreline respectable, but I will still be going with a Bayern win. I think Bayern gave them enough problems at the Emirates Stadium, and they should continue to do so at home. And Bayern, they've just lost out on the Bundesliga, and Tuchel only has the Champions League left to fight for. I also know that they've been eliminated from the German Cup, so therefore this is all or nothing for Harry Kane and his Bayern team. So they have to go all out in the Champions League. And with my score prediction, I'm going that Bayern will win the game. Yes, but I think it will be 3-1 or 2-0. I am not sure. I do think this will be maybe a little bit of a tighter game, but I think I will go with 2-0. Yeah, I'm going 2-0 Bayern. On to Man City, the main event, the final before the final. We remember what happened last season when Madrid got to the Etihad Stadium in the semi-finals. They called it the most toxic and hostile environment that they've ever experienced, and Man City beat them 4-0. I think the same thing is going to happen again. I think it was dangerous for Madrid not to win the first leg, and comfortably so, because Man City are undefeated at the Etihad Stadium in over a year. I am going with a 3-0 Man City win. Man City will be feeling confident after both Liverpool and Arsenal dropped points during the title race this weekend, and now they are top of the Premier League. Real Madrid, yes, they are top of La Liga, but I think it was very dangerous and risky for them not to make their home advantage count. And I think City at the Etihad Stadium have beaten Real Madrid last year, Bayern Munich in the Champions League. Man City don't lose at the Etihad Stadium. That's the task that's facing Real Madrid this season if they want to make it to the semi-finals. And to be fair, Man City are holding one of the longest unbeaten streaks in the Champions League for an English team. And this includes visits by Real Madrid multiple times. And City have beaten them all the time. 3 times in the past few years that Real Madrid have been at the Etihad Stadium, they've lost all of them. City have beaten Barcelona, Bayern Munich, PSG, all these teams at home in the Champions League. So I think, again, it's going to be a problem for Real Madrid. They have the manpower to handle it. They have the superstars, Vinicius Jr., Rodrigo, Jude Bellingham. They need to come up with something, I think, extremely amazing in terms of performance, but I just don't think they have enough in defense to cope. Can Real Madrid score at the Etihad Stadium? Of course. I think they actually have to make it the same game plan that they did at the Bernabeu, just being a little bit more cautious in defense. But City are always going to dominate the ball, so it is really up to the counter-attacks being effective, and Pep Guardiola is going to want to ensure that he has that under control. With that being said, this is the summary of my predictions for the quarterfinals, and I've again went with all home wins, and I honestly see that happening this time around. So who makes it to the semifinals? And remember, the seeds have been set. If Bayern or Arsenal win, they will face the winner of Man City and Real Madrid. And in this case, I have a City versus Bayern Munich semi-final. And on the other hand, I have Atletico in the semi-finals up against Barcelona. Barcelona winning against PSG, and I think Atletico will make it tough, but I think they will probably scrape through the game against Dortmund by extra time or by penalties. Those are my predictions for the Champions League quarterfinals. I hope we're in for another amazing night of Champions League football, another amazing week, and I think we are in for huge entertainment of football this season. Please subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one, and I will be reacting to the results. Bye-bye.